Hey, it's Scot Tempesta from Sailing Anarchy. We're back with another one of our retro look videos. This is episode number 6. We like to cover a wide spectrum when we do these things. We go really, really old. We're gonna go somewhat modernish in a couple others. This one's a really nice example of a line of boats that when I tell you how many they made, you almost won't believe it. Today, I'd like you to say hello to the Swan 37-1.
1, 2, 3, listen.
This particular Swan 371 is hull number 57 of about 85 or 6, I think, that they made. This particular boat was built in 1981. Production started in 1979. Remember how I talked about how many boats they made? I'm gonna go through a list here. I'm gonna stop because it's almost too many. So maybe you wanted a Swan 36 instead of a 37. Yeah, they made one of those. Did you want a Swan 38? Maybe a 39, a 40, a 41, a 42, a 43, a 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. You could pick any of those sizes and they made a boat. And then beyond that, they went 53, 57. I mean, there's so many boats over the years. I believe they've used 3 different designers: Sparkman Stevens, Herman Freres, Ron Holland. And now they've got a line of boats called club boats. They're Club Swans, and they've got a Swan Club 50 and a Club 36, and those are 1K designs. This thing just epitomizes the whole idea of pinched transoms and tiny cockpits. I mean, this is a small place to work. It's got the bridge deck here, which, let's face it, takes up a lot of cockpit space, but that's just the way boats were done then. These boats were built to last, and they really do. You don't hardly ever hear any story about any of these Swans, no matter the year or the make, having any problems. They're built really solid, all fiberglass, and these things are known for just intrepidness. Going anywhere you want to go with a boat, this would be a great example. So the wheel. This is an interesting place to be because you think you're gonna sit here and steer, you're not. You may when you motor out to the start, but when you're sailing, especially downwind, you're like this, because this boat's probably relatively hard to keep on the rails when it's breezy. Really tall masthead, big kites, but this gives a great view of not only what's happening on the deck, but then in front of the boat, and you can just see that even though this boat seriously needs some teak deck work, you can see just how beautifully every single aspect of the boat is sort of put together. One thing this boat has, like almost every Swan did, the blue stripe that goes along the extra long cockpit combings that then morphs right into the cabin house itself. Super visual, easily identifiable, almost no matter what the make is. It's hard to find a Swan that doesn't have the blue stripe. Here we are about midships on the boat. The first thing that you notice, maybe the thing that you can never not see, is the literal sea of teak. I mean, Swans were just known in the early days, especially building teak decks, and there's a lot of it. I mean, this is going to be quite the project to get this thing fixed, but when it's done, teak is probably as beautiful as can be. You can see it's got some of these sort of old world, really tough features, you know, where you can hang on to things up here. This particular boat has a windlass in the front, roller furler, but again, the story with a Swan on deck, teak. Now, let's take a look below. All right, here we are down below the Swan 371. Again, wood factory, but here, down below, is perfect. Everything about down below in terms of the wood, the way the grain flows, the fit and finish to every single aspect of this is really old world technology if you think about it, in the best sense of the word. The boat's obviously a nicely, heavily built boat, and a lot of it's because of the structure down here. It's gorgeous. It's dark because it doesn't have many hatches or lights at the cabin house. So, and with the darker wood and then the darker velour, It's a darker boat inside, so it's much different than, say, some of the more modern boats, right? That are so open, they're bright, they're very airy. This definitely, again, I use the word all the time, this is a timepiece. This comes from a certain time when boats were done this way, and it was very, very desirable. I mean, when you walk down below a Swan, just like we did here, you come down and go, wow, this is amazing. And because it really and truly is. Nothing like you'd find today, but what you do find is a very traditional sort of layout, right? Come down below, galleys nicely done here. Nav station is here. Very traditional, very perfect. Old school instruments, keeping in line with the boat. When you navigate these boats, and these boats really are and were seaworthy, they race in oceans all over the world where it gets really rough, unlike San Diego where it doesn't. So, came with a seatbelt. 2 seat belts, and that's to strap the navigator in from getting thrown around. And it's not the bad helmsman up there that the navigator would normally be yelling at. He's just going through big waves, and it's hard to sit here without getting thrown out of things. So you strap on the handy dandy bondage strap, and you have fun navigating. Well, maybe not fun, but at least you don't get thrown out of the goddamn nav station. This gives you an idea of really what the boat is like down below. I mean, it's hard not to be impressed. May not fit everybody's style today, but this piece of history and the way it is done is really an admirable thing. Let's take a look at the back section here. It's a strange little place back here. I guess it's the owner's stateroom, kind of, but I'll show you why this actually has to be the owner's stateroom. It's got double bunks, kind of a single here, but this is really and truly a double, and this must be for the owners. There's a little mirror here, and oh, nice little hanging locker as well. That's got to be for the wife or girlfriend, or maybe even me. I mean, I've been known to dress up a time or two. Again, fit, finish, everything about it down here is great. Just a very sort of interesting layout. I'm assuming the motor's right here, gotta be. And this is where you go if you're the owner. Now I'm gonna show you why you don't go to the front if you're the owner. Let's go. All right, the sloping cabin house starts to limit headroom, even for a midget like me. So if you're a tall guy, owner, girl, probably not gonna like it up here. It's a very nice traditional head. I'll use the word traditional because, well, because it is. But this is really odd. So notice the tube that comes down there. I would have thought, given that the head is here, and there's hanging lockers here and storage here, I would have thought this would have been the owner's bunk. But how can it be? It can't be. It has a tube that runs right down the middle of it. Now, you might go, what's the tube for? And that was my first question. Why does it have a tube? It's for the anchor and the anchor rod. I'm told this is factory, so you basically have a pipe berth here and a pipe berth here, and this is where they store sails and miscellaneous stuff. So it's not exactly what you would think when you walk up here, but at least you can go up here and go, baby, I got the tube. All right, that's our look at the Swan 371. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like these, hit the like button up there. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, that's up there too. Do both of those. And if you have comments on these videos, go ahead and drop one in there. We're doing something really exciting. In fact, we're doing it next Monday. It's another retro look, but it's a boat that you have not seen, I almost guarantee. It's called Marjorie, designed by Stevens Waring, built by Brooklyn Boatyard, all on the East Coast, 59 feet of pure beauty. And again, we're gonna drop that next Monday. For Sailing Anarchy, I'm Scot Tempesta. We're out.